Hello, my dear future chatters. Welcome to this tips session for CA Foundation examination. In this series, I am going to give you tips for the purpose of solving your answer paper in a more effective manner and to score good marks. Now, today's tip is basically for the subject of law. In law, generally you will find that there are two different types of questions. One are the descriptive questions. For example, define consideration and explain the various situations wherein no consideration, no contract rule is not applicable. Or maybe what are the implied conditions, what are the implied warranties, give examples of any 6 implied conditions, etc. So these kind of questions are very easy to write because you are not required to interpret anything. They are basically memory-based question. You know the definition, you know the section, and you know the different instances when consideration is not applicable, or what are the features of a valid offer, what are the features of a valid contract. Those are easy questions to write. But the second type of questions are case study questions, where students get confused how much to write, what should be the presentation method, etc. So the first question is about the presentation method of the case study question. And the second tip or second question which I want you to understand I want to answer is the question of how much to write. Is there any correlation between the number of marks and the size of the answer? So let me consider the first question. That is the question of how to present an answer for case study things. So if a question is of case study, then generally the answer should be divided in 3 parts. The first part is the provision of law. The second part is the facts of the case. And the third part is the conclusion which you're going to write. So generally your answer should be having these 3 distinct parts. How are they going to be distinct? Number 1, please write the heading. So you can just straight away write provision of law and then underline. Then write the provision of law which is applicable for the particular case study. Second heading may be the facts of the case. Underline the same and then write the facts of the case. And the third heading is going to be the conclusion. Write the heading, underline the same, and then write the conclusion in relation to the case study. So this is the basic presentation. Second part, as far as possible, these 3 different parts of the presentation should be separated by 1 blank line in between. So write the provision of law and then leave 1 blank line. Then write the facts of the case, leave 1 blank line, and then write the conclusion. Obviously that ends your answer. There you are completing the answer. Next part, when you're writing the provision, what should be the phrase? What should be the method of writing the paragraph of provision of answer? First part is what should be the beginning. You can specify a particular case study and then suddenly you realize that you are not in a position to recollect the section which is applicable to that case study. Don't worry. You are not anyway expected to write the section every time. Wherever it is possible for you, wherever you are comfortable, wherever you are confident that you know the section, don't forget to write it. But when you are little less confident, don't write the section. So with this particular thing in your mind, when to write the section, when not to write the section, let us understand how to put it in our case study introduction. So you've written the heading, provision of law, right? According to the provisions of the Indian Contract Act 1872. When you are going to write the Indian Contract Act complete, then you are going to get the marks. If you're going to write any short form like ICA or SGA, then you are going to lose the marks. So don't do that particular thing. Don't forget to write the year of the law also. So when you don't know the section, please write according to the provisions of so and so. If on the other hand, you know the section, then don't write according to the provisions of section so and so. That is not a correct way of writing the thing. Then it is better to write according to section so and so of the Indian Contract Act, or maybe the Indian Partnership Act, or maybe Sale of Goods Act, as the case may be. So when you know the section, the sentence should be according to section so and so. When you don't know the section, the sentence should be according to the provisions of so and so. This is the first part. Then if the provision is in multiple lines, if the provision is having multiple points, then it is better to write each point on a separate line. Don't need to write the numbers to the lines, but don't forget to write each point on a separate line so that your provision will be appearing very clear for the examiner to understand that you are knowing all the different parts of the provision. Next part, when you are thinking about facts of the case. So first part is over, according to the provisions of or according to section so and so. And then write the provision in line by line manner. Don't write in a complete paragraph. So your answer will appear to be vertical as compared to horizontal. Then you have completed the first part, you have left 1 line blank, and then you are going for the facts of the case. Remember, generally for facts of the case, there are no marks assigned to it. So if you are going to write elaboratively about the facts of the case, then you're going to invest your time and energy, but you're not going to fetch any marks. So as far as possible, be brief, be concise when you're writing the facts of the case. The second part is, remember that facts of the case should not be more than 3 lines, maximum 3 lines, because it is anyway explained in the question. What you are going to do there is to tell the examiner that I am aware that this particular case study revolves around this central point. So that is the fact of the case. And then comes the third part, conclusion. Generally, conclusion sentence need not exceed more than 4 lines, maximum 4 lines, not more than that. And conclusion sentence should be divided in 2 parts, reason and outcome. That should be your method of writing the conclusion sentence. So you're going to specify, since something is there, where you are going to refer to the provision mentioned in the first part. Therefore, this particular thing is going to happen. That is the second part, conclusion. So the conclusion sentence is made up of 2 different parts. Reason. Reason is obviously mentioning the provision which you have written in the first part of the answer. And then thereafter you're going to specify, therefore, this particular thing is going to happen, or this may be the interpretation, or this may be the remedy, or this may be the result. You may change the sentence in a little different manner. You may first of all write what is going to happen, and then you are again going to specify the reason behind it. So in my opinion, this particular thing will be considered since so and so particular provision is there. This is how you can write the sentence. So this is the way in which the case study question must be solved. I'm repeating again, 3 parts. First one, provision of law. Second one, the facts of the case. And third one, the conclusion. All 3 parts should be separated by 1 blank line in between. Don't forget to underline the headings of that particular paragraph. Within the paragraph, if there are any important words, phrases which you have used, don't forget to underline it. While underlining, no need to keep down the pen and again pick up a pencil and underline the same. You can just underline by the same pen which you are writing, which you are using for writing the answer. That's all about the presentation part, first question or first tip in relation to how to appear for case study question. The second tip is about the length of the answer. Now, what should be the length of the answer? The simple thumb rule. Now, remember the word thumb rule. It does not mean it's a precise rule. Okay. Sometimes this particular rule may have to be modified by you on your own, after looking at the question, after looking at the marks which are assigned to it, and after considering the contents which are applicable for that particular question and answer. But general thumb rule is, for 5 marks question, 1 full page, 1 full side of 1 page will have to be written. So for 5 marks, 1 full page, that means 1 page is made up of, 1 mark is made up of 20% of the page. That's the basic rule which you can consider. 1 mark for 20% of the page. So 5 marks is equal to 1 full page, 1 full side. So if the question is of 10 marks, you will have to write both the sides. If the question is for 6 marks, you will have to write 1 full page and maybe 20% of next page. If the question is for maybe 4 marks, in that case, 80% of 1 page. That is how we are going to write the answers. This is the very simple thumb rule to be kept in mind. However, it is possible that certain questions may be having a lengthy answer. In that case, you may have to break this particular rule. But this is the general way in which you are going to consider this. So I have given you 2 tips. First one, about what is the way of presentation of the case study question. And second one is, what is the length of the expected length of the answer? What is the correlation between the answers and the marks? Okay. So all the best. Let me consider next tip in the next video. Bye-bye.